Israel's promised rolling retaliatory attack on the capital of Yemen continued this afternoon. Earlier, the IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport in Sana'a. Then this. According to witnesses, there were 4 strikes. Targets included the runway, departures hall and a military airbase under Houthi control.
Whoa! Whoa!
At the weekend, a Houthi missile landed near Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. The Iranian-backed group say they're trying to impose an aerial blockade on Israel, targeting its airports in response to plans to expand IDF operations in Gaza. As the strikes on Sana'a were happening today, Benjamin Netanyahu recorded this statement from the military control center.
Today, our aircraft attacked the airport in Sana'a, an airport that enables the terrorist army and the aerial access to the terror state that facilitates the launching of missiles against us.
Today's strikes come a day after the port of Hodeidah in Yemen was also hit. The US and Britain have been targeting the Houthis as well, an effort to protect international shipping attacked in the Red Sea. A few hours ago, with the airport still smouldering in Sana'a from the Israeli attack, Donald Trump announced that the Houthis had given up the fight against commercial ships.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that, and we will stop the bombings, and they have capitulated.
Is there a deal? Did Israel get the memo? We'll see. It all brings us back to Gaza, of course, the reason for the Houthis' attacks. If they are capitulating, it's not because the Israeli position has suddenly softened. Their latest plan, hundreds of thousands of Gazans forcibly moved to the south of the Strip and a new, much broader, deeper military offensive. The hope in Gaza is that this plan is an extreme negotiating position by Israel and that it's no accident it was announced just before Trump's visit to the Middle East next week. Part of the reported Israeli plan, a limited number of aid distribution points administered by military contractors designed to get the population to move. Cue universal condemnation from aid agencies.
Clearly, this is something which is extremely concerning. We have to imagine that population has to actually go to military zones or zones controlled by the military to get humanitarian aid. We understand that there would be facial recognition systems that could be used. You cannot use humanitarian aid as a bait or a way to attract population to certain areas.
Donald Trump has alluded to a big announcement ahead of his trip to the Middle East next week. What will it be? Is it even related to Gaza? And if it is, what difference will it make to the people in the queues desperate for food?
Porrick O'Brien reporting. Well, I'm joined now by Brigadier General Amir Avivi, who previously served in the Israeli Defense Forces and founded the Israel Defense and Security Forum. Good to have you back on the program. I wonder if I could start off with a point of clarification. So you've got President Trump in the Oval Office saying the Houthis have capitulated in their war against Israel and international shipping. And then a member of the Houthi Political Council spoke to Bloomberg Television, as reported by Reuters, that in fact they haven't stopped. So what's actually going on?
Well, nobody knows. Israel is waiting to see what will happen. President Trump didn't mention Israel. He mentioned only the trade in the Red Sea. And we're not sure that the Houthis are really going to stop. Israel is in full readiness for any scenario. And if indeed the Houthis have capitulated completely, this is great news. But we're not sure that this is the case. We'll have to see.
So do you think that President Trump was being too optimistic, jumping the gun?
Well, I don't know what he knows. I mean, he knows what intelligence or what talks they are having. Israel was very surprised by this announcement. Nobody knew about it. So we're waiting to see how these things evolve.
So what about Gaza? I mean, we had Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, today saying that Gaza was going to be completely destroyed and that the population of Gaza would probably in large part want to leave to a third country. I mean, this sounds suspiciously like Donald Trump's fantasy plan for Gaza as enunciated a few months ago. And if it were to happen, it would be ethnic cleansing on a massive scale, wouldn't it?
Israel set a clear goal of war, of eradicating Hamas, not eradicating Gaza. And the plans of war that are being executed as we speak push forward 3 goals of war that have been determined at the beginning of the war: to eradicate Hamas as a governmental and military entity, to bring back all our hostages. They're still holding 59 hostages in Gaza, and to make sure that never again there will be a terror army in the Gaza Strip. Israel is amassing forces, and probably in a week or two, we see the fight intensifying in order to create the pressure to release the hostages and also to create the terms needed to eradicate Hamas, this vicious terror organization that is also abusing its own society.
Okay, but there was a plan to bring all the hostages home. It was in 2 phases, and then Israel broke the ceasefire after phase 1 was complete. You broke the ceasefire. You could have just let the plan go ahead.
Basically, I think there is a big misunderstanding about really what was the deal. Israel never agreed to stop the war. Hamas is demanding again and again a deal that says we'll give you the hostages and you surrender. Don't fight us anymore. We'll stay in Gaza. There is no option. There is no reality where Hamas stays in power in the Gaza Strip after massacring 1,200 Israelis, burning people alive, raping women, and
but what you're doing, hang on a minute, but what you're doing in the Gaza Strip at the moment, apart from the accusation of ethnic cleansing, and some people would say genocide, is that you're starving people. You know, innocent people are being starved because you're not allowing the aid to cross in. That's unacceptable,
we have to tell the truth as it is. At the moment, there is no scarcity of food. At no moment in this war, there was lack of food. Israel is preparing, knowing that maybe in the future there will be a scarcity of food. Israel is preparing humanitarian zones that are intended to bring the humanitarian aid to the Gazans directly for free, not charging them money like Hamas does, not seizing their food like Hamas does. We need to make sure that the humanitarian aid, when it will go into Gaza, it will go into the hands of the society, not of terrorists. And this is what Israel is doing. They're planning to bring it to the society.
Let's see what part of that actually happens. Amir Avivi, thank you very much indeed for coming on the program.